Okay, so let's look back at this assignment. So we're still here on the first page. At the bottom of the first page, you're going to notice that it has a stop sign. So what I want you to do when you get to one of these stop signs is call me in to look over your work, because at this point, this is typically where I would ask the whole class to stop and check in with me during class. Because if you don't understand what's happening at this point, then it's really difficult to move forward. And so these are not worksheets that you typically do on your own in class. We really work through them together in groups and talk through the answers. Okay, so there's, I think, 2 or 3 stop signs. So there's one at number 3. There is one after number 21. And this is where I want you to stop officially. So you only need to do questions 1 through 21. After this, the naming gets a little bit more complicated and it goes into the extension questions. And so after this, questions 22 through 29 will be extra credit in the terms of you can use this assignment to replace any other assignment in the grade book if you'd like to continue to get your grade up, okay? All right, so let's look back at a few things I want to just mention before I let you send you off to work on this on your own. So the first thing I want to just remind you of is that, or I don't know if I mentioned this in my last videos last week, but I want you to know that when you look at an ionic compound, I don't know if you noticed, but the sum of the charges in an ionic compound add up to 0. They always do. And so we can look at an example of this would be, let's see, NaCl. So instead of drawing it, we can just look at an image here of NaCl. So if we look at NaCl, let's look at this picture here. You'll notice sodium is in group 1. It has a +1 charge. Chlorine has chloride has a 1- charge because it's in group 7. So it originally had 7 valence electrons and it gained 1 from sodium. And now it has a 1- charge. And so you're going to notice if you add these up, let's see if I can annotate. Okay, I'm not in, oh yeah, I can annotate. Nice. So if you add 1 plus 1 negative, right? So if you literally added +1 plus -1, and we could write this slightly differently, if we were in math class. But if you just add those up on even a calculator, they're going to add up to 0. So every ionic compound is like this, even if there are ones that form more complicated ratios. So let's look at a different one. Let's look at any ionic compound. Let's look at, we can look at Mg2OH. Okay, this is one we haven't talked about. We can have an ion that is actually made of multiple elements, but we're not going to focus on that this week. But this will come up at some point. Notice here, though, that magnesium has a 2+ charge, while OH here has a 1- charge. So 2 OHs, it requires 2 OHs in order to balance out the 2+ charge on magnesium. Now, this would be the same, let's say, if we were looking at any element that had a 2- charge. So like oxygen has a 2- charge as well. So maybe we can look at that one. Well, if magnesium has a 2+ charge, and this ion only has 1- charge, actually I got that wrong, then we need 2 1- charges in order to balance out the 2+ charges, in order to add up to 0. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll discuss it more in my next video.